September is National Emergency Preparedness Month, and today we have the Director of Public Affairs Conservation, Victoria Llort from the Desert Water Agency, to tell us about the importance of personal disaster readiness and the agency's role in ensuring reliable water during emergencies. Thanks for being here.
Of course, thank you for having us.
We have the potential for any number of kinds of emergencies, from wildfires to earthquakes, and that's the big concern.
Absolutely, to floods, which we've seen much more recently.
Yes.
We have to take into account, of course, climate change. We've seen from droughts in the past few years to some really heavy flooding. We've seen, Tropical Storm Hillary and our semi-annual Haboob.
Yeah, we get a few of them this year. They've become more prevalent with climate change.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about what the Desert Water Agency is doing to help ensure emergency preparedness.
Absolutely. So when we're thinking about natural disasters, and what we're really also thinking about are earthquakes. We are very close to the San Andreas Fault, and so that puts us in a unique situation. And so the Northridge earthquake in the early 90s really taught the water industry some hard-earned lessons, and that was because LA was without water for 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
And so many years later, here we are, and we proud to say and happy to say that we are almost all complete with seismically retrofitting all of our reservoirs. Now, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
So that means we put a seismic actuator on our reservoir, and so if there is some shaking and an earthquake of a significant magnitude, the actuator actually preserves the water that has already been pumped into that reservoir. So that way, if the electricity goes down during a massive earthquake or something, we can still count on the support and the water that we've already pumped up into our reservoir to ensure that we can still deliver you safe, reliable drinking water. Now, of course, if there has been some severe damage to the main lines or if the reservoirs have broken, that's a separate issue.
Yeah, well, that's likely to happen in an earthquake. So you do need to have a water supply in your home separate from your tap.
Separate from your tap. So FEMA recommends that you have 2 weeks worth of water.
For every person?
For every person, as well as your furry
pets.
animals.
That's
Yes.
right. Emergency preparedness is important because, as you pointed out, we can run the gamut of emergencies. And a lot of people were stranded without power, water during Hurricane Hillary because of the flooding. But that earthquake is the one thing that we are always mindful of.
Yep, that big one we've been preparing since, I don't even know, since forever. It's also very important to know how to turn off your water from your water meter, your electric, and your gas. So those are all things that you should really take into account during an emergency, as well as having an emergency pack with batteries, flashlights, food, water, all the things.
That earthquake kit's so important. It's not just important for earthquakes, but other natural disasters as well. And DWA.org will have recommendations for you in terms of getting prepared for any disaster. Remember, emergency preparedness is everybody's job. Victoria, thank you for being.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Our pleasure.
We have to run and take a quick break, but we'll be right back after this. You're watching News Channel 3, The Desert.